Hello and welcome to Film Companion South. Today we are going to be doing Ask BR with special guest on Enai Noki Paayum Thota. Special guest will read out all the questions. One.
Kumaran asks, do you think that the film would have been much better if they had reduced the overdosed voiceover and the screenplay in the second half could have been written in a linear way? I think it would have impressed much more, and also it contains a lot of cliches from GVM's previous movies. What do you think?
No, actually, I've spoken a lot about this. The voiceovers really work for me because both halves start with Dhanush in that near-death position and his life is flashing before his eyes, and the voiceovers really give a sense of him thinking about all these events that happened, and they connect the various events. And had they just shown those events, I don't think that sense of a man thinking about it at the last minute would have come through. So I thought for a change, the voiceovers are not just giving a sense of the inner life, but also connecting that first half to the first image and the second half to the first image of the second half. So it really worked for me. But the point is, when they're talking about cliches of GV's previous movies, I don't know. It's like, see, with some directors, they take 5 or 6 things and say, I'm going to do permutations and combinations of these things, in other movies, if the heroes, become something due to the death of his love, then here I'm going to have the hero's brother become something because of the death of her love. So those are tropes that people like playing with, and I don't know, if you don't like that, then I guess no, because I like that. I like to see what permutations and combinations people do with the same things. It interests me a lot because that shows a filmmaker obsessed with certain things and trying to, do those things. So, but I think next question you should answer.
I love the voiceovers very much. Why do you think it didn't work so very well for everyone? By Bottle Moonlight. In my case, the only thing I liked in the film were the use of voiceovers. I haven't seen, and when people talk about GVM and voiceovers, I don't think this film used voiceovers like GVM himself has in previous films. So as far as the use of voiceovers is concerned, this is a very new way of how they've used it. I guess why people didn't like it is because it's not just because it's too much. It's not just because everything is being spelt out. It's also because of a lot of other things where we find it very weird when you mix English and Tamil. That could be one of the reasons when he uses terms like a beast mode and all those kind of things.
But that's literally just 3 or 4 places. Actually, the rest of the places, it's not so. I didn't like that beast mode word either. But the rest of the places is very organic, I thought. So because he's not some rural guy, right? Even when you go to his house in Pollachi, they're a very well-off upper-class family. So it's like all of us, he's a Tanglishy kind of person. So
but there are times where you feel like it kind of sticks out. I'm not remembering the 1 or 2 instances exactly, but then you really feel that Tamil English thing kind of. Shashi Kumar's English not working, for instance. That Gautham Menon hero thing can work for a lot of people, but then when you're trying to fight Shashi Kumar making him say really Gautham Menon things, I found it very, very weird. What do you think? Like some of the reasons are why people so shocked and appalled by it?
I think it's just because in this he's pushed it more than, like, he said that in an interview to, I don't know, me or you.
Us,
so he said that he's pushed it really like far in this, and actually till I saw the movie I didn't realize what he meant, because he's literally driven the movie. And let me tell you one thing, this is not a lazy technique. Cinema is not only a visual medium, it is an audio visual medium. So if you don't like these voiceovers, that's a different thing. But don't say voiceovers are lazy screenwriting. That is not the case at all. Because voiceovers add flavor to something. Because when you see Dhanush in that room with Megha, Akash, and the first time they're embracing, you're getting a sense of the place, the situation, and why he's going forward for the hug. If the voiceover had not been there, you would have just seen a loving hug or embrace or whatever it is, and that's left to us to, like, we wouldn't have even thought about what he's thinking. He just think, he wants to protect her from that guy who's outside the caravan, he's giving her a protective hug or something. He really takes that action and pushes it like 2 or 3 levels down. So I'm saying listen to what it's doing. It's like dialogues. I mean, why do you want dialogues to only advance the plot? Why don't you want dialogues that just enhance the moment? Rather than, it's not pushing the plot forward, it's not telling you what is going to come next, it is staying at the same place and just, giving an extra color to the moment. I mean, I think that's a great thing that you can look at it as. So,
and especially in the portions that really worked for me, the first half an hour or so, you notice by that time you're kind of used to the voiceover system, and you're just watching this scene and thinking about how the screenplay would have looked, and it's beautiful construction because there is space, there is gap, there's time for that voiceover to happen, and there is that silence between both of them that is totally believable because that voiceover has to happen and you have to listen to that. None of the scenes are just it's not an afterthought. It's not a director's cut where the director simply making the actors speak things when something's happening.
Right.
Everything has that construction, you know.
No, and also the character. See, because Dhanush himself seems to be an introspective guy. He's got carrying a lot of baggage from childhood. He's not really this most kind of outspoken guy. He takes a long time to open up in terms of Megha, Akash. The first time he sees her, I love that scene where he kind of raises his hand and kind of like almost like half stops it. He's hesitant. It kind of gave me the sense that this is a guy who would have a very active inner life. He's not this, let me go and tell everybody everything. I would rather that I'm the kind of guy who's probably going to think about things rather than go and easily talk about it to other people. So I know even in that way, the characterization of Dhanush made the voiceovers quite.
And like the scene that follows, it's not like usually in a Gautham Menon movie when they use the voiceover is going to lead you to what he's going to say next.
Right.
In that in this film they've used it in such a way that you know what he's thinking, but the question that he still asks the girl is so different from what he's thinking.
That's what I'm saying. No, see, it's not about what next. It's about coloring that moment. And just making it enhancing that moment rather than taking it like
okay, I'm thinking this, I'm going to the dialogue is going to be an extension of what I'm thinking. It's not that. So that's when he asks the girl, oh, you seem like you're not very excited to be a part of this movie. It kind of like that's not what you're expecting.
You don't know that at all. It's like
because
that's a dialogue. Because he's thinking something else, but he's also observed her that she's not doing that. So anyway, next.
Okay, the actual Anirudh K asks, as refreshing as it was to see GVM's style of filmmaking back on screen, I felt that the plot had given a bit too less depth to the Shashikumar character, and I wasn't really able to emotionally connect with that angle of this plot line. If it was there, I feel like it would have been much deeper film, almost like an action thriller like Varnamairam.
What do you think?
That's exactly why the film got so screwed up for me. Like, I thought about the film so much in the weekend, but whichever way you kind of explain it, you've met a girl, you're in love with that girl, you've already saved her and she goes away, and then you try to make your brother also somehow come into that same thing where you have to rescue a girl and your brother helped, your long lost brother was there. It's just too implausible. Like, as a screenplay, it's just not coming together about how all these things get connected and how that same producer from here is an arms dealer in Bombay.
So I think the producer I kind of that became a little too much. But I do agree because I think even in my review I wrote the bad guys in this movie are not very well written. So they're all interchangeable kind of bad guys. And like things like arms deal and all. By now they're too generic. Like they're very we've seen tons of Hollywood films or whatever it is. Of course, somebody could still argue that for our audience this is new or whatever it is.
Remember the organ thing in Enai and that. It was like it never mattered. Victor is a bad guy. You don't know. It doesn't matter what he's doing.
But I think Arun Vijay also made that character a little menacing. I was like, okay, that guy's a little dangerous. I was always like, there was.
But that organ trafficking thing didn't matter at all. Right?
No, that was just almost like anything. It could have been anything. It could have been this arms deal or whatever it is. So I think that's something that I felt hanging over the second half. Though it's still very professionally done. It's still very smoothly done. And Gautham is a very good director. I mean, in the way he just stages stuff and all that. I mean, it just wish the writing had been better in terms of defining these.
But do you feel that a thing like that would work? Like in the opening credits, through shadows, you're trying to show a childhood story. Like, do you think that is enough to kind of, other than to it's as good as just simply saying what happened to the brother, right? Like, is it so
but you need that hook, no? Because the thing is, you're sinking a hook into the viewer, and then you're moving away. But then if you suddenly bring in the Sashi Kumar character out of nowhere, it's like supposing in an interval you just have a scene where Dhanush walks up and says, "Anna." It might be like a big high or something, but then it's a little too late. I would say the problem is more that the brother character hasn't been used well. Rather than being introduced in the beginning. I think he's introduced and you get the fact that the weight of him has been hanging over this family for a long time. But I don't think in the second half when he reappears, I really wanted like some lovely emotional scenes between them, you know, not like in the weepy sense, but just something that connected, just the way Megha, Akash and Dhanush were connecting. I wanted I loved that scene where Dhanush walks into the police station and he's like almost ready to, and the door is closed, remember, it's like, it's again, you know, another closed door. He opens the door, he walks in, and there's that photograph lying there, and okay, the fucker still remembers us, you know, it's not so bad. It's like, you know, it's okay, I was ready to hate this guy, but you know, Seripo, at least you remember us, kind of thing. So that was a lovely scene in terms of you know, just one small little touch about that tells us about the brother. But I think after that, I think they didn't really take the brother anywhere meaningful. He could have, like, in the sense that the thing that he performed, the function that he performed in the film, need not have been a brother. It could have just been a protector or anything like that. You know, it could have just been, I'm in danger, come rescue me, as opposed to I'm in danger and I'm in with your brother, come rescue me. Both are fairly interchangeable. I don't know. It's just like.
In that particular scene, I was really looking forward to that scene because you know how Gautham Menon is capable of staging those moments. So when you're expecting that big comeback, like when Dhanush is going to see Shashi Kumar, I expect that to be a real scene. But there's nothing. Like he's just walking. He's just
no, for me, no. I thought even there was a very interesting subversion because they're like two brothers getting into a thing because of like an action scene. And I understood why Shashi Kumar ran away, because you're kind of, he knows who Dhanush is. It's not like because he's been keeping tabs on this family. So he's like, screw it, I'm just kind of like, I don't have the time to deal with this right now because some people are on my tail, so he runs away. Like a cheaper director would have at least given us some meeting of eyes or some crap like that, you know. He's not doing that there. He's like, I'm a professional, I've got to run away from this scene as much as possible because, you know, otherwise my mission will be in jeopardy. So even though he knows that Dhanush is fighting, and even though Dhanush knows that, you know, that's his brother, I thought that would become the meeting scene, and it didn't actually. That worked very well for me. My disappointment was more that after that, when that guy jumps into the auto, like then, from then on, you're like, okay, nothing much. Okay, again, when you think about it, like at a screenplay level, it's another lovely subversion because I hope all you guys watching this know that there are like huge spoilers. So please, like, otherwise there's no point you can discuss this. There's a fantastic subversion because what if, you know, that's my expectation, right? And I think Gautham is going to give me this lovely scene between two brothers that's emotional and all that. Let's fuck his happiness. Let's like totally, you know, cut that, you know, that expectation away. And I'm like, I'm just going to bring that brother. I'm going to have him that auto. I'm going to make the audience think that, okay, we're going to get these scenes that are going to, you know, hook these guys together. But then I'm just going to, you know, kill him right there. I mean, in theory, it sounds wonderful. But something's not like clicking there. I don't know why.
Because we barely know that guy.
But I'm saying that even though we barely know the guy, maybe it's the actor, maybe, though I didn't mind him. I thought I enjoyed seeing Shashi Kumar in the zone. But I don't know what it is. It's like something's not clicking there because as an idea, everything sounds fine. But somehow on screen it's not clicking. You know, that's like that subversion is not coming through as a.
And you also understand why they've used a senior, respected actor that all of us are familiar with. But maybe if it is somebody like someone else, you know.
I don't know. Maybe it's Shashi Kumar you expect more, but had it been a general guy, maybe you wouldn't expect all that much.
So, correct. So, Ravi Teja asks, do you think GVM is trying to stick to a genre for a period of years? Example, action films from 2003 to 2007, followed by romantic films from 2007 to 2013, and this mix of genres from Acham, ENPT, EN Joshua onwards. I also look at it like this. I also look at his career as three different phases. My favorite phase being the 2007 to 2013 phase. I mean, the three love stories together phase. But honestly, I look at the Joshua trailer and I'm not particularly excited. I look at the DN trailer. I think it's a cool looking trailer, but that's not why slick action scenes. That's not really why Gautham Menon films matter to me. So the love story phase was my most favorite Gautham Menon phase. And this is another phase that I'm not particularly excited about.
I think when he mixed two genres, like he's doing it, that is, he's giving us, the first half is, like, again, in theory, it's a lovely idea to talk about, you know, because the first half of this film is a romance with touches of an action thriller. The second half is the exact opposite. It's an action thriller with touches of the romance. So
Yeah.
I don't know, it sounds fascinating, but you know, when you have an action thriller that has its own story graph to satisfy.
Yeah, correct.
You know, because you have to find out who are the bad guys, what are the, you know, what are they doing, you know, why is Shashi Kumar on their trail, and I think all that needed much better, like you know, something really sensational, or you know, like, or his life is in danger because something, I don't know. It was like there was this bunch of generic guys doing generic bad things, and I'm like, okay, why should I I care, you know? That danger was not coming through. You know, I thought there would be this reason Shashi Kumar left, and that had to do because Dhanush was being threatened, or some, like, I know some melodramatic construct was playing in my mind, but thankfully Gautham didn't go there. But what I'm trying to say is that, like, the tone of the film is very clear, it's very classy, because the romance is exactly what it is. The thing, you know, he's not infusing melodrama into this mix, you know, it remains what the genres are. But I think why I love Vinay Tandi and why I love Needane and Purnvasantham so much is because they just take this drill and go right into the soul of two people, you know, just like it's like watching a clinical dissection, like two specimens are lying on screen, and the director is just taking the scalpel, and, you know, as gruesome as it sounds, he's just peeling away layer by layer by layer. And I'm not saying they're perfect films, but they're just amazing films. It's like about 90% of both those films work wonderfully for me. You know, just kind of and all the, you know, the Gautham things that you usually see, the parents, the sister, the mechanical engineering, the, you know, love and a takiche, the something, all these things kind of are used so well in those two films. And to everybody who thinks Needane and Purnvasantham is not a good movie, I would just say just try watching it one more time, because it's really, really a good movie according to me. Not asking you, but at least give it another chance is what I'm trying to say. So
yeah, no, but do you also see it as three faces of a filmmaker?
Yeah, but I see, even with Kaka Kaka, I got it as, I thought of it like an action love hybrid. I didn't see it as a pure action film, because the love portions are pretty much love portions, you know. See, Kaidi, for instance, is a pure genre film.
Correct,
because the only genre is action adventure. So every character that comes into the movie is linked to the action adventure.
Correct.
Now, if Karti's daughter is coming into the movie screenplay, it's because that is the reason for him to get involved in this whole thing. So everything is clean. Helen is another great example of a very pure genre film, because every character that comes in is linked only to this thing, as opposed to Jyotika coming into this movie as a love interest. In Kaka Kaka. So that makes it a pure romance, because now you're bringing in a character, external character, that is not, the action movie would have still gone on without her. Or with her just like part of his life or something like that. You know, so the action movie is not affected by Jyotika at all. Maybe the impetus for revenge or something like that is more, but that movie is not like affected at all. So that's when you're talking about two genres coming in, right? Because that's perpendicular to this. So I think that he has been trying that for a while. I don't think it's as much as here, but I would say even Kaka Kaka is a bit of a mix of an action come thing. And the Gautham film I like the least is Minnale. That's actually the only film that doesn't work. Yeah, but even there something was, one Siga Projakal type vibe was happening. I was at least interested in thing. This was just like that. Minnale, the songs were amazing, but the film just doesn't work for me.
Even at that time?
That movie just doesn't work for me at all. Though I haven't seen it like in a few, maybe now with knowing what Gautham is and knowing what his things are, maybe I should just give it a watch to see what it is like.
Okay, why are all the usernames taken? Asks, the movie felt like listening to an audiobook. The voiceovers rendered the visuals redundant. I do not need Dhanush's voice to tell me that Lekha is locking the bathroom door or that the bathroom is small. I can see it. It did not help the voiceover were rambling and not delivered organically or with proper pauses and beats. This is something I feel most of GVM's movies suffer from. What do you think?
We talked about this, no? See, it's not just about the bathroom being small or what is being shut. It's more like how he processed that thing, because the ultimate thing of that point is it's all leading to an embrace at that point, because that is the first. Till then he's been keeping an arm's length for, even though they've been kind of this thing. This is the first point they're actually embracing, and the point is that whether this embrace is happening because of an external threat. It's not happening because of, it's not a natural boy girl thing where they're in a park and they say, oh, I love you and I'm embracing. It's like somebody's knocking. So it's kind of him making her feel safe.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that's like, okay, you know what, this kind of, so it's a lot of things. It's part of it and it's processing it. See, one thing about voiceover is when you enter a bathroom, you see it small, you feel it small, but when somebody like that thought gets expressed as a voiceover, it's not really
functional.
Like, it's not. It's not. It doesn't mean that it's explaining what it is. It's a whole. It's like 6 or 7 things like happening one after another. One of those things is that the bathroom is small or whatever it is. It's like it's not like, oh, I'm in a small bathroom and end of story. And also the way he says the bathroom is small, it's like younger bathroom with a chinnadu or something like that. He says it's like he's hostel bathroom or something. So it's not just the size, but also, you know, it gives you a little extra information there. So I would say, you know, that's again, this is probably the most polarizing thing about this film. It's like voiceovers. You know, nobody's talking about anything else. It's just the voiceovers. My God, why are you using the voiceovers? No, the voiceovers are good, the voiceovers are bad, you know, it's like so.
But I can understand why people find it annoying also. Like, I don't know why. I understand why people can think that it's like, oh, can't you just shut up? Because it's eventually talk after talk after talk, right? So if you're not engaged with the movie anyway, and if you're really not, if the action is not working and things like that, I can understand why this just really irritates you. It's not like you can even pause, right? Because you're constantly listening to a man's thoughts. So I understand that side also.
Okay, but tell me, in Goodfellas, when Ray Liotta's character says, I always wanted to be like them, I don't remember the exact line. The same thing is being shown as, like, his fascination for the mafia is being shown, right? Why do you need that line then?
Yeah, in Angamali Diaries as well. Yeah, but the purpose is very different in that way that it's just, those voiceovers taking us through so many events, through so many experiences, and it's covering so much time, right? But instead of covering that much time or to set that particular description for that scene, here it's bringing it so close. It's like a zooming into a point.
That's what I'm saying, that zooming in. I'm not comparing these films. I'm just saying that you're kind of literally, that's a great example. You're kind of zooming out. And it's like that's what you're doing. You're kind of enhancing a moment with this voiceovers instead of saying, I'm giving you this piece of information and then I'm moving on. And like it's like you know, and the tone is set right.
That is the fresh experience.
And the tone is set right from the very first scene, because you don't need Dhanush to say that a bad guy is standing over me with a gun, right? But he's not doing that. He's saying, cinema la eppovume bad guys come and, you know, they kind of talk a lot and give you a lot of time to think. So there's a sense of self-awareness about the situation. And the second thing about the voiceover is it's telling you that my mom took me to a Josier or something like that. And the Josier said, I lived till 90. So the point is that using that same man is standing over me with a gun, there's like that same thought is being zoomed out in different ways, because one of it is related to the mother, one of it is related to this. So it's like, I guess again, if this interests you or not is more like it, but I don't know if we can say it's invalid, because it's not exactly showing what is in front of you. That I will kind of really argue about. I can agree that it may not work for you, this tone does not work for you or whatever it is, but I will really disagree when you say that it's basically saying the same thing. That I don't think it's happening. So.
And with the outrage, I'm also very surprised, because I'm sure all the people who seen this movie, they're to some extent fans of GVM, and they've probably all had one or two experiences where they absolutely love the voiceover. I mean, you if you think after so many years of Gautham Menon making his films, if you think you enter this film and you're shocked at the voiceovers, then I think it's their problem. It's not like, if you like, that's his thing, that's his movie, right?
So, and also because I think it's wall to wall, right? I think that's something that people didn't expect.
AM Mr. Hrithik asks, I think ENPT lost its grip when the story moved to Bombay. It was made as a full-length love story revolving around Raghu and Lekha like VTV. It would have worked better. And in my opinion, Dhanush is far better than Simbu for such roles. What's your opinion?
Dhanush is far better than Simbu for such roles.
Such roles as in for ENPT?
Yeah, I liked him a lot. It's like with that action thing and, you know, that love story. I think he did really well. Though it's very difficult to go back to movies which are kind of so set in your mind that I can't imagine any other actor other than Simbu in VTV, for instance. Correct. You know, it's like I cannot, even though I know Dhanush is a very good actor, I can't take him back and replace Simbu in that movie and see what's happening in that movie. It's like, you know. So.
And people, like, now that they've seen ENPT, now they know what Dhanush will be like in a GVM movie.
Right.
But they've forgotten how interesting it was for us to think about how Dhanush should fit into the GVM mode. Now that we see it, it's not even a problem, right? He fits in perfectly. Even if you say, like, okay, he's a Pollachi guy, he's not supposed to be a Chennai guy and all that, but it
No,
fits
but he's
for-
a rich Pollachi guy, dude.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they have a stud farm and all that. They just kind of so just like hardly,
correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mage Sinu asks, do you think that ENPT's antagonist created the same impact that Pandya, Amudan and Ilamaran, Victor and that Matta from AIM have created? Is he one of the weakest villains in GVM films?
Yeah.
GVM, I think in terms of writing, yeah, but I don't think the performances were terrible or anything.
No,
like
no,
that.
no. Yeah.
They did what they were supposed to do.
Right.
Then I think they were better than Baba Sehgal.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's as bad as that.
I think also because when you look at the Vettiyadu Vilayadu villains, that Ila and that other guy, because that movie itself was going into that zone and these guys were so messed up and they had all these issues and they were gay and they were killing women and no, they were bi, I think, because they were having sex with women, some
like
teacher, I forget exactly what it is. But I think, that was, for that time, it was such a new perversion for Tamil cinema, like, see, the biggest challenge is actually always how to define an antagonist who's different. And because he's going to be doing quote unquote bad things, but what specific bad thing is he going to be doing? And I think that was very different in Vettiyadu Vilayadu.
Correct, yeah.
So, which was not here because arms deal is so generic that you're kind of
like it's like some abstract problem, right? It's not something.
It's not something that thing. Whereas if that same thing had been like the Rajnikant Sridevi movie Priya, supposing Lekha has been kidnapped and being kept somewhere, and Dhanush's whole mission is to go and rescue Lekha and something like that. Even though it's a cliche, I mean, at least I think the emotional involvement would have been more because that's a very imaginable situation. This bad guy, the badness is that he is affecting my girl. Whereas arms race and all is too James Bond, generic. So I guess,
Madan Prasad asks, I get the distinction between a movie and a film, and I think ENPT is the latter. But what sets apart a filmmaker from a director, and which category does JVM fall into, in your opinion? Do you call him an auteur or a pure filmmaker?
I would say he's I don't know what's the difference between filmmaker and director. For me, they're very interchangeable terms. Somebody who makes a film is a director.
But a film and a movie, you understand what he's trying to say?
No,
right?
I make a distinction between cinema and movie because cinema is the art form. A movie is one specific example, or film or movie. For me, film and movie are the same thing. Cinema is it's like music.
But for Americans, it's like this, right? Americans think film is American film is more serious than movie.
I don't know. Maybe film.
So that's what he's saying.
For me, Gautham has really, really come a long way as a director because one of the things you want as a director is the parts where you see the film going beyond the screenplay, It's like doing character things that go beyond the screenplay, and I think that he's become like really good at. And even the second half, I would have gotten really bored if it had been badly directed, For me, the very fact that it is so smooth and so well done is a huge part of my investment in it. Rather than, I'm still distanced a bit because the happenings, the writing is generic. But like he's holding me because it is so clean and well made, and the whole movie, the only real sloppy thing is probably the bullet special effect. Because you can see it, and then that's kind of happening. But otherwise, that's a very small thing. Otherwise, everything is so well done. Like if somebody walks, that according to screen time, when you look at that person again, they would be exactly at that kind of distance where they would be if they had walked in real time. Little things like this, which make you think that there is I don't buy realism at all. I don't want realism in movies. Well, if it's there, it's fine. But I don't think realism is a badge of honor in a movie that, it's a realistic movie. And I don't think that that I love unrealistic films, all realistic or everything in between. It's just that the movie has to be very pure to what's going on. But I really think Gautham Menon is a damn good filmmaker because, but I think where it happens is, when somebody is very interested in doing the same things, like those juggling the same five, 6, 7 things that they love, when they are writing the whole thing, sometimes I think they can fall into traps. And I think maybe giving it out to somebody else to write, maybe like a way for it. But as a filmmaker, as a pure director, I think he's really good.
But I think I agree to what you're saying, but I think that's a problem. Like there's a problem in this in ENPT because the way the second half has been written, right? Those action scenes have to work as action scenes, like scenes that you can remove from the movie and still work. But when you're a stylish filmmaker, when you have logic, when you have all these not realism, but when everything fits into the larger scheme of things, the action scenes fail to work like it worked in Asuran.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
See, I think I mentioned this even in my review. See, Gautham flattens the moments.
Yeah.
In the sense that whether it's love, it does not go there. If it's sadness, it does not go here.
Yeah.
It's like everything is kind of like a smooth, like a sine curve kind of thing. And that consistency is amazing because, you know, to maintain that, it's very hard because, you know, you can just push or amp up something, whether it's the performances or whatever it is. There's this very smooth feelings from start to finish. But yes, exactly that. I think maybe that's one of the reasons the action scenes don't pop out like
and it's a film that needs it to pop out because, like you said, everything is very flat. So at that point, if the action scenes don't elevate things to the next level, it feels like a very flat movie.
Yeah, no, but I'm using flat in a positive sense. I'm saying that
I get it.
I'm saying flat in a consistency. As opposed to emotional consistency. Not just logical consistency, but emotional consistency. You know, that's really running through the film.
And another problem in a GVM film is because the action scenes are like stylized in a very Western kind of a way. Right? It's not like one guy you punch the other guy and they fly away. I think that logic or that anchor really helps. The fact that when that Simbu says that I have learned boxing. You know, in AYM actually he's taken the effort because you know that he doesn't look like a guy who can fight. And in all the cop movies, they can fight because they're policemen.
And you don't need that logic at all.
Yeah, this is the only movie where it's an extremely strong, powerful guy and there's absolutely no justification for that.
Right.
So that I think is a problem, another problem in this film. The commenter asks, how much did your recent much talked about and appreciated interview with GVM and your personal rapport with him play a role in your positive review of ENPT?
Nothing. I'll say this with confidence because I had a great interaction with Lokesh Kanakaraj. Kaidi didn't work for me very well. And I wrote that. See, the point is that, you know, these are not friendships. These are professional acquaintanceships is what I would say. You know, like I like Gautham a lot. You know, I think what he's trying to do is very nice. I buy into his flavor of filmmaking. The same thing I can say for Karthik Subbaraj, Mani Ratnam, Vetrimaran, Mishkin, all these guys. You know, his professional acquaintanceship with all these people is there. So, you know, I don't think that you know, you're subconsciously kind of, because see, one thing I always take great pains in my reviews is to tell you why I'm feeling something and not just like it's a good movie. But like if I'm saying the voiceovers are working, I'm explaining why they're working for me. So I don't see this as a conflict at all, you know, like because of, you know, people say that you like so and so, because see, then in that case, you know, you should have reviewers completely dissociated from the industry. And that will never happen because as you keep growing in your profession, you will be required to interact with more and more people. But it is Gautham's choice to kind of, and my choice, because the point is I'm going to write a review the way I feel, and hopefully if it's a negative review, Gautham will say, okay, I'm not happy with this, but you know, well, whatever it is, let's just move on. But if somebody feels like breaking that relationship, well, that's what it is. You're prepared for that because, you know, like I said, this is a kind of a, like, how do you look at it? It's being a critic and being a, like, not a friend, obviously, but you know, somebody who knows somebody because you've interviewed them 3-4 times. Like, see, even in a Hindu, when you go and interview them, now it's on video, so everybody thinks it's extra, you know, but even you might be doing the same smiling and chatting and stuff like that when you're sitting opposite one and taking, like, you know, recording stuff on a phone for the Hindu. How do you feel?
But that's the nature of relationship, right? Like, all of us understand that, and then because you like somebody, because you're really fond of someone, last week I wrote like one of the most personal pieces I've ever written about any filmmaker. But if I disliked ENPT very strongly, I dislike ENPT. It's not because he's my favorite filmmaker or anything. It doesn't make any difference to me, you know. That film is separate.
Right.
And the relationship is separate. Some people get it. It's happened so many times that you have a very good interview with the director, but you write the review and after that guy hates you for life. It's happened so many times. And we've all learned to deal with it and move on, you know.
No, and another thing you learn to deal with is the narrative that forms around. One of the most famous narratives that's formed around me is that, oh, I like Mani Ratnam movies. But dude, if I like Kaatru Velidai, I did not like Chekkache Vandavanam, which other people liked a hell of a lot, and they were like, for a while they were telling me, what is this? After a long time, Maniratham has made a good movie, and
you did like Okay Kanmani.
I did not. Okay Kanmani did not work too well for me. But somehow they remember only Kaatraveli Day, and they keep saying you like all of Maniratham's movies, But that narrative is something which is completely beyond your control. So you just learn to live with it. I guess it just kind of going to happen. So
Ajay asks, how come all the characters in a GVM movie or GVM's universe deliver dialogues in the same manner? Which each character has a different tone, the way of phrasing and delivering a dialogue. Poor Shashi Kumar. I found it. I didn't buy Shashi Kumar in the JVM universe even for a second. It's the absolute same problem I had all those years back when I watched Pachakali Muthacharam. Sarath Kumar and Shashi Kumar are as far away from the JVM universe as anybody, and so I don't know. Like I found it very funny. So what do you think? Like
no, for me it doesn't matter at all, because like I said, see, this is what you want is a realistic thing where I talk one way, Vishal talks one way. But if Aaron Sorkin were writing the screenplay, I would sound the same way and Vishal would sound the same way. It's just the voices would be different, but we would both talk with the same, that rat-a-tat delivery, the pacing, the phrasing, both of us would be the same. So when you see The Social Network, everybody talks the same way. That's him. That's Aaron Sorkin's way. So some writers put there, like Hitchcock is a filmmaker who does that without words but visually. He imposes himself on everything. So he's not going to stay in the back and say, I let a naturalistic thing play everywhere. His whole, the shadows on everything. So I guess that depends then on your personal taste, whether you want realistic films or whether you want auteuristic films where this person's signature on any way. So Maniratham's characters will talk a certain way. Gautam's characters will talk a certain way. That's Mishkin. Mishkin's filmmaking is so distinctly him that one of my favorite Mishkin scenes, it may be my favorite Mishkin scenes, is that when he narrates a story in the cemetery, right? In Enai Noki Paayum, and he's just like doing that, and it is the farthest thing from reality. It is completely artificial. Nobody on earth talks like that. Nobody poses like that, and kind of a thing. It's artifice. What makes us buy is the emotional content of it. So if you don't buy into that, that's fine. But if you're saying it's not realistic, then I don't have a problem with that at all. Because for me, real films, neorealistic films, whatever it is, it's as valid a choice as a completely artificial, Bhansali type of universe where everything is deliberately
planned and
micro-controlled, in a way that things aren't in real life. I mean, that's okay with me. It's all different styles. So
Sethu C. Joseph asks, why do you think the movie being delayed for 2 years but still manages to pull the crowds for FTFS? Is it because of the music or Dhanush or GVM? The movie style of GVM is more over the same as always. What do you think of it? I think I watched the film in Chennai, and the way I saw people whistle when that big Gautham Menon Vasudev, and it's not even written directed by, it's just Gautham Vasudev Menon, when that came on, that's something I think 4 or 5 directors at one point of time get. So Dhanush, of course, you'll whistle for Dhanush when he does something that is signature. Obviously, you also whistle when the film kind of teases you with that Maruvarte tone. So you whistle for that also, but it is GVM. When you're going to that movie, you want the voiceovers, you want Dhanush talking that way, you want to see him wearing that kada. That is what it is. So he's a star director that way.
I completely agree with that, because I think like at any one point there are 4 or 5 directors who get that whistle or whatever, the recognition. And I don't know why so many people seem surprised about the fact, long delayed, it still doesn't look dated. This was just made 3 years ago. It's not like some analog film has been converted to a digital film and is suddenly being projected onto screens or something. I mean, if you look at films made even 10 years ago, they look fantastic. You can project them like in...
Not really.
No, as in the quality of the film. Like when you say it doesn't look dated or something like that, like you just mentioned OK Kanmani. You look at what OK Kanmani is, what, 2015,
I think.
Okay, whatever, like what?
4 years back.
4 years. So maybe they started production around the same time. You look at, if you project OK Kanmani.
That's different. Maniratnam films, they will look a certain way. But I don't think, like you look at the other films that were made in 2000 and...
No, I'm saying Gautham.
Gautham Menon films,
and that's what I'm saying, that visual quality that you get in these handful of directors, they will not make the film be dated because they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
See, the point is any style gets dated when you're using the cool style at the moment.
Yeah.
Like you remember,
Fashion,
like the fashion. When you remember when P.C. Sriram was using those shafts of light.
Yeah.
A lot of Tamil films
Yeah.
started using that around the early 90s, if I'm remembering right. Suddenly there'll be a bush and behind that there'll be some light.
Yeah.
Some crap like that. There's no, I mean, Sriram is using it for a reason because, he's kind of using it as a spotlight or something. And then here, these other guys will generally like put some huge blast of light onto some face where the body will be in some different light. When you use it that way, without understanding what you're doing, I think that's when your film becomes dated. But if you know what you're doing, and I think,
he's abandoned certain things like those jump cuts we used to see in Betel Valiad and all. He stopped using all that, and he stopped those like those crazy angles, those 2-second scenes. All that is gone. Like he's moved on, even cinematically, right?
So I think that's the Ask BR and Ask Vishal for this episode. We loved doing this. So let us know what you thought about this episode as well as this conversation, and keep watching Film Companion South.
Bye guys.